Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Brian here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at DXY on the daily. We got that WXY, X2 and the Z down. We do have that bullish divergence there now. There are two scenarios here. We're sort of getting 1, 2, 3 down in here. So this may turn into a larger correction as an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat here before we get an A, B, C. So we may get a larger correction here. And if we look at the monthly, we got the wave Z up on the monthly and we got the bearish divergence. So it makes sense that this can turn into a larger correction, running or expanding flat here. And then we get more downside. On the H4, looking at this like A, B, C in here. Last week, we were in here. And I said, you have to be very careful. You want to break out of here and a setup to go up to that 100 fib. Which was up here somewhere. We dropped down lower, which is fine. That's why I said if you buy in here, in this little range here, you have to be very careful. And instead we got more downside, which was good. We got an A, a B, and we're getting a C up now. I'd really like to get to that 100 pip, and then more than likely we'll get more downside, and then that could trigger that larger correction I showed on the daily. Looking at the H1, there really isn't much on the H1. You know, really need to go down onto the lower time frames. I dare say, if I just go down quickly to the M15. So you can see here on the M15, we have a bull hidden here. So more than likely this will go up, break that top. Then we get one down on that H4 to finish off that move. And then we get the larger C up on the daily. AU on the daily. So this is playing out how we were looking at it. I'm looking for that A, B, C, and then we get that larger A, B, C. Not sure why my 100 fib is gone there, but anyway, so I believe this is the end of the B wave now, and we're getting this C down to finish off this wave B. So we'll be looking around this 100 fib. Price may get to this 100 fib here. It may even go and break this low. If it does go and break this low, it's actually good for us, because then we know that we'll just get a C up as a running or expanding flat, and then we'll get more downside. So we'll have to see in here. On the H4, we didn't get that we didn't get that complex correction in here, which I was possibly looking to get. We just got that this A, B, C, finishing off the move. We now have that lower low. If we go down to the lower time frame, on the H1, we've got that WXY. I'd be looking for an X2, similar size correction as that over here, and then we get that Z down. So I'd be waiting for a setup. I don't believe there is a setup just yet on the lower time frames, but yeah, we'll be just looking for a larger correction in here before we get more downside, which more than likely will take all week. So we could be in for a very choppy week. We may get one up here, a correction, another one up, correction, and another one up. similar size correction as that over here, and then we get one down. So that may take all next week. So you will have to be careful on the AU buying and selling. It could be quite choppy. EU on the daily. So nothing's really changed on the daily. I'm looking for that A, B, C in here to finish off that B wave, and then we get that A, B, C. So I'm looking for downside on the H4. We are coming to an end. We're getting all this bearish divergence here. I'm looking for a sell. It's not giving the sell just yet. Looking at price action, we may get an A, a B, a C as a running flat, and then we get another one up, finishing off the move, and then I'll be looking for a nice impulse down, a correction or a flag to sell down to this 100 pip. H1, there's really nothing yet. Again, you know, we may get one up in here. You may get a setup here on the lower time frames, just a scalp. You know, you'd be looking for a correction on the lower time frames in here to buy, and you'll be taking, you know, you definitely want to be at break even and even take half off at the break of the top. And then you'll be looking for that impulse down, correction, and more downside. I'm more interested in the sells than the buy. I wouldn't be buying up the top of the market, especially in a B wave. On GU on the daily, so this one's becoming more complex. I was looking at that possible triangle in here. It still is possible. We get that A, B, C, D, E as an expanding triangle, and then we get that A, B, C. It's not really finished in here. As we can see, we're getting more upside, which is fine. We're getting all that bearish divergence. I'm only looking for sells, like I said last week. You know, sort of looking for this to sell. It's gone up and broken the top. So this may be like an A, a B, a C, running or expanding flat, and then we get more upside, finishing off this B wave. On the H1, I mean, I wouldn't be buying it, but you know, if you got a flag in here, it's extremely risky, because we're looking at this as a B wave, and then I'll get an A, a B, C. So I'm looking for downside. If you're looking for more upside, you know, you want a really nice setup to buy. It's just not something I would do. It's not fitting the structure that I'm looking at. NU on the daily. So this one didn't come down and break that low. This low here didn't come down and break that low. I was hoping it would break that low. But on the daily, we're looking at that A, a B, and we're looking for a C up. I was sort of looking for an A, B, C in here, and this one to go and break that low. It hasn't done that at this stage, so it makes it difficult to trade. I was looking for that A, a B, and then we look for that C up. On the H4, like I said last week, we had this impulse up in here. So we can just get an impulse up in here as well, and we get an A, B, C with a running or expanding flat in the middle. This is very choppy, but as you can see, it didn't break this low over here. It still may yet if we get this impulse up here as a running or expanding flat, and then we come down and break that low. Ideally we do, and then we can start to load up on the buys. The H1, there really isn't much. You know, we do have the bullish divergence. We've got all that bullish divergence. did have a little flat in there. So we're looking at it like a WXY. More than likely this will give more upside, and then we'll get an X2 and a Z up, finishing off this move here, over here, and then we get that flat. And then I'd be looking for any sell set up to sell to go and break that low that's over here. GY on the daily. So this was the invalidation point. We've broken above that invalidation point for more downside. So now we have some sort of like a WXY on the daily. So this may keep on going. I dare say this top will be broken and we'll get that larger A, B, C, giving us the bearish divergence. Possibly will give us a bearish divergence there. We'll see when the time comes. On the H4, we already had that Z up. I was looking for that WXY, X2, the Z. We got the Z up. But like I said last week, this may be an A, B, C in here as a running flat, and we may get more upside. And that's pretty much what happened. You can buy this. This one you can look for the buy because we got that larger correction in here. So you'd be looking for, well, what I'd be looking for if I was buying this, I'd wait for this wave to be over, and then I'd be waiting for a correction back to around the 50 fib, and then I'd be looking for a buy setup. UY on the daily. This one here is not going to what I was looking for either. It's still not invalid, but I was looking for an A, B, C in here, and then we get an A, B, C, giving us a larger correction before we get the larger A, B, C. Instead, we're still in this internal B wave in here. This one's a lot more riskier than the GY. I'd be more inclined to buy the GY than this one, UY, because we're in this B wave, whereas GY we're not. So I'll just check to see if we're getting any bearish divergence here. We're losing the bearish divergence. So on the H1, very similar to GY, you'd be looking for, waiting for this wave to be over here, looking for a 50 fib retrace, and a buy setup to buy. USD CAD. So like I've been saying for months and months and months, we're looking for a correction this size over here for that wave Z up. Looking for that WXY, X2 and a Z up in here. We have that ball hidden here. So I'm looking for that to go and break that top. You can only buy this. We're looking for a retracement in here. So I'd be looking for, we're getting an impulse down now, get a correction, another one down, giving us an A, a B, and then any buy setup you get, I'd be looking for the buy. H1, there's nothing, very similar to the H4. I'd be looking for a correction in here. We don't know how high, and it can even go and break that top in the B wave, and then we get a C as a running or expanding flat, or we just get a regular flat, or we just get an A, B, C. So really, if you get a correction in here, you can scalp the C down, and then, any buy setup, you'd be looking for that buy. The Swissy on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C. It still hasn't got down around that 100 pip. We're getting all this bullish divergence. So just mainly concentrating on buys. Not really interested in sells at this low. I was looking for an A, B, C. We did get that C up late in the week there. It didn't get up to that 100 fib. We have a bear hidden here. So, be very careful buying. You may get a buy set up in here. But more than likely, if I just go down to the H1, I think last week we were looking at this as a buy here. It didn't break out. Instead, it gave us a lower low. We got a nice impulse up. We got 3 down. So if you get a little flag in here, you can look for a buy, but be very careful. You definitely want to be at break even above this top, because I dare say it'll just break this top, and then we'll get more downside to go and break that low as an A, B, C, and then we get that larger A, B, C. EG on the daily. This is very messy. I'm looking for that A, B, C. Instead, we got this here, which was looking rather bullish. Now it's looking very much bearish again. So you could look for the sell in this. The H4 is pretty much playing out. We're looking at that W, X, Y, A, B, C in X2, and we get that Z down. You can only sell this at this stage. If we go down to the H1, it may give a nice setup for a change. This pair, we got a nice impulse down, so I'd be looking for a correction back to around the 50 fib, and then look for the downside. And you'll be targeting, ideally you'd be targeting this 100 fib here. So there is quite a bit potential downside in it. So yeah. WTI on the daily. So I'm looking at that like W, X, Y, A, B, C, and then we get more downside. Like I mentioned last week, you can only buy this though, even though we are looking for that flat. It's more of a buy. We got these higher highs here, and we got the correction. I dare say this got to around the 50 fib, so you could look to buy this. I'm not sure. We do have a bull hidden here, so I wouldn't be surprised if that does go and break the top on the H1. You'll be looking for a nice setup. At the moment, you have to be extremely careful, because even though we have a bull hidden on the H4, we have a bear hidden on the H1. So this may give another one down before it gives the wave up. Ideally, to trade this safely now, to buy, you really need a break above that top, a nice impulse up in here, a correction, and then look for the buy. Or unless, that bear hidden plays out, this bear hidden here plays out, gives you another one down, then you'll be looking for that impulse and then the correction over here to buy. I wouldn't be looking for the sells. I mean, this flat, the larger flat may play out. But it's extremely risky to sell this at this stage. These flats are quite difficult to trade when you don't know how to trade them. You can get in a lot of trouble. That's why I'm sort of saying you can really only buy it at this stage. Like I said, we got that high there, and you can't really sell down in here. So that's the two scenarios: either get a little correction in there, another one up, and then go and breaks the low, and that bear hidden plays out, which is more than likely, and then you get another buy set up over here for that H4 bullish hidden divergence. Doesn't matter if you miss this one down in here. This is the one I wouldn't want to miss. Looking at gold on the daily, the bearish divergence is still holding. As I've mentioned many times, we're looking for that wave Z up on the weekly. So I can get up to that 123.6 and the 161.8. We got this sharp move down in here. So I'm sort of looking at this as a B wave, and then we get a sharp move down as a running or expanding flat before we get more upside. H4, you can see what I'm looking at. It hasn't gone yet. I was looking for an A, B, C, back to the 100 fib. It bounced off the 100 fib, and it's just staying on this 100 fib. Any sort of buy setup I'd be looking for the buy for that C up. On the H1, there's nothing to buy yet. That's the problem. There's no setup to buy. I'd be just staying out of it. At this stage, ideally it goes down and breaks this low again, then gives us a nice impulse up, correction, and then we can look for the buy. Until that happens, it's very risky to buy. There is no setups in it. We sort of got some sort of an A, B, C in here. So we get an A, B, C up, and then we get an A, B, C coming down, breaking the low, and then I'd be looking for that buy setup. This correction in here isn't over yet. That's the problem. And we need that 1, 2, 3 down before we can look for that buy. So you'll have to be very careful if you're trading gold. I dare say it's going to be quite choppy in the following week. Looking at silver, this one here, we lost the bearish divergence between the two tops. We lost that bearish divergence. We had that bull hidden here, so we were looking for that to go and break that top. The problem was we lost the bearish divergence. I was looking for the bull hidden, and then we get a bearish divergence in here, and then we can look for the sell for the wave Z on the weekly. That didn't happen. We lost that bullish divergence, so I'm just looking for a correction in here before we get more upside. You can see how corrective this is looking. I'd be waiting, until we get a 50 fib retrace and then start to look for the buy. This can be choppy for a very long time. I expect this to be choppy for a couple of weeks, a couple more weeks. We sort of got some sort of an A, a B. We get a C up here as a running or expanding flat, and then we get that A, B, C. I'd be waiting for a nice correction that we can identify, and then look for your buy setup. Ideally, it gets down to the 50 fib to give us the risk reward. But price doesn't have to get down to any of these levels, but that's what I'd be looking for. You can see how choppy it is on the daily. On the H1. I mean, extremely risky to buy. You'd have to go down onto the lower time frames, and you're probably getting a little flag in here for more upside, but I'll be just looking at an A, B, C, and then more downside for this impulse here. Get that C down, and then you could load up. This one here is a little bit riskier. If you're looking to buy, you'd just be targeting a 100 fib. If I just put that 100 fib on. So there's not much risk reward in it to buy at this stage, I believe. So, you're only really targeting that 100 fib. And then, if you got a sell set up, the sell would be the go. That'd be the larger impulse down, and then you'd be looking for that buy. Bitcoin on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C in a B wave, and then we get that A, B, C as a expanding flat. We're still in this wave Y here. We're looking at a WX wave Y, which isn't over yet. And then we get an X2, and then look for that Z up, and then I'd be looking for the sell to go and break the low. What's this on here? If I just remove that. So this wave up in here can get up to that 161.8. So I'll be expecting some sort of a WX, Y, X2, then the Z up. H4, extremely risky to buy at this stage. We have a bear hidden here. So this can, it tried to, during the news, it tried to go and break that low. It didn't break that low, but we still have that bear hidden. So it makes it quite risky to buy. Ideally, it comes up, breaks that top, taking out the possible bear hidden, and then you get a correction, and you could look for a buy. It's mainly scalping. You'd be first targeting that 123.6 and then the 161.8 that I drew. There really isn't a setup on it. Because we had this very deep move in here, this is sort of an A, may get an A, B, C in here, and then we get that A, B, C as a running or expanding flat before we get an A, B, C. So if you're buying in here, you can buy it, but you'd just be looking to break that top. And then more than likely we'll get a sharp one down like this one over here as some sort of a running, well, I dare say it'd be a running flat because this is so deep, and then you'd be looking for the buy as a scalp. S&P 500. So nothing's changed on the daily. We're looking at that A, B, C. It's still going up. Looking at that first target, and this is the second target, that 161.8. This one's playing nicely on the H4. We got that WX, Y, X2, and we're looking for that Z up to that 161.8. First target is that 123.6, and that's the second target, that 161.8. We got a nice impulse up, little correction. I bought this on Friday. I took a small hit on the first entry, then got in on the second entry, and the second entry went for me. You can only buy this at this stage. You'd have to wait for a correction. before you look to buy. Price may get up to this 123.6 and then give you a correction, and then you could look for the buy up to that 161.8. AU 200 on the daily, very similar. You know, we're looking for this C up, so you definitely can look to buy this. We've got a nice flag in there to buy. So I'm looking for that A, B, C as that expanding flat in here, and then we get that A, B, C. So nothing's changed for quite a while on this pair. Getting this breakout here. So you'd be waiting, you'd have to go down to the lower time frames and look for a correction in here. And then you could look for the buy. The FTSE on the daily, very similar. This one did have that ball hidden. I'll just double check to see if that is a ball hidden there. I believe it is. So I was looking for this A, B, C in the B wave, and then we get the A, B, C. Unfortunately, I mean, this is a running flat. I would have liked a little bit more downside in here. We do have a ball hidden here to go and break that top. So this is a complete structure now as the A, B, C as the flat in here to get more upside. The H4, are we getting a ball hidden here? No, we're not. We're not getting a ball hidden just yet. I think last week we're looking for that correction back to the 38.2 for that WXY X2, and then we'll be looking for that Z up. It's still in this correction. It may have broken out. Looks like it has given a higher high, so that's good. So you can really only buy this. You'd be looking for that, waiting until that impulse here finishes, and then look for your correction, ideally back to that 50 fib, and then you'd be looking for that buy to go and break the daily top. The DAX on the daily, so this has broken the top too. This one we were expecting to break that top with that ball hidden. So we've got a larger flat in here. We've got some sort of an A, B, C as a running flat in here. For more upside, we're getting all this bearish divergence, so it becomes quite risky to buy, especially up here. You know, it's just not something I'd do. But we are getting a breakout here. So again, on the H1, if you're looking to buy this, you can only buy this. So you'd be looking for that correction, and then more upside, ideally back to the 50 fib. But you'd have to go down to the lower time frames and look for it. I might do nat gas as well. This was looking quite interesting. So nat gas, I was looking at an A, B, C, and then I was looking for an A, B, C in here. We still haven't got that A, B, C up yet. On the H4, I'm looking for upside in here. as an A, a B, and we get that C up. We did get a breakout out of here. It's come back down. I was looking to buy this on Friday. It did go, and it's come straight back down. So now you have to be very careful because we have bearish divergence there. So really, I was hoping for more upside up to this 100 fib. Unfortunately, it didn't get anywhere near there. So this may give an A, a B, a C, and then you get more downside, one more down, and then we'll be looking for the buys. I'm only looking for buys at this. If you look at the price, you know, we're extreme levels at the lows. So, you know, this can really take off. If we look at the weekly chart here, you know, I'd be expecting at least a 50 fib retrace after this wave here is over. I'd be looking for a 50 fib retrace at least, and possibly even go and breaking this top. So any buy setups, I'm just mainly looking for buy setups. Like I said on the H1, this can fall over now, give us another lower low. I'd be staying out of it until we get that lower low, and then I'd start to look for buys again. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.